Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be restoring this square antique oak table with the pull-out leaves. Most furniture made prior to 1970 with a lot better quality than today's standards. Have a family heirloom or doing a furniture flip? Let us help you with that. Give your furniture some love. As you can see, someone's refinished the top of this with probably a Polyshades wipe-on polyurethane. They just finished the top portion only. It was a military move, so you can see it suffered a little bit of damage right here with the edge. We'll have to do a little repair work on that. Some people refer to this as a refractory table because the leaves pull out the sides. Refractory tables are usually more rectangular in shape, but this one turns into a rectangle. So cute little table, nice little size for small spaces. As you can see, it's got the leaves that pull out the ends and drop down. The tops on these just lift off. They're not really attached. You can just set those aside. And the leaves themselves also just lift right out. That makes it easy to move around. First thing I'm going to do on this job is I'm going to wipe down the surface with naphtha. That will remove all the impurities, furniture polishes, body oils, etc. Before we strip it. Wipe it down with the naphtha, then we'll wipe it dry with a clean dry cloth. Next, we'll brush on some methylene chloride based semi-paste stripper and get that finish all softened up. I'm predicting this should wrinkle right up after being on there just a little bit. Get some on the edge. I'm just trying to brush a nice thick even coat on it. Don't want to brush it on too thin, otherwise it won't do as well a job. Make sure you wear your gloves and your safety goggles. Do this in a well-ventilated area for safety. Okay, this has been on here a few minutes now and it looks like it's wrinkled up pretty good. Now we'll just go ahead and scrape off what we can here. This part's very gratifying. All right, let me get a wire brush. I'll scrub down in these cracks. All right. Next thing we want to do is wipe them down with a lacquer thinner rag. Try to get the rest of this residue off of there. Get that rattle can off of there, making noise. And here's the table. We've got the finish all stripped off of it. And next step now is to fill a few voids with some filler and give it a good sanding. And here's the filler I'm going to use. It's an epoxy putty. It's a two-part you mix together and just fills in the voids. I'm going to use this on the damaged portion and some of the holes. That's where it needs some filler. Here's what the filler looks like out of the tube. As you can see, there's the inner part and the outer part. You just get a putty knife and cut off how much you want to use for that. And then you just knead it together with your fingers into a ball and put it where you want to put it. Here's the filler all mixed up and ready to apply. You can see the void we have here. What I like to do is make sure you work down into the fibers of the wood best you can to get a good adhesion. And then after that you can build it up to wherever you need it to be. And you want to try to not put more than you need on this because it does cures out pretty hard. Makes it a little hard to sand. So just try to keep it to a minimum. You can chisel it to some extent. Shape it down. A little extra there. Alright, we'll let that harden up. That should be hard and ready to sand here within a couple hours. And go from there. I went ahead and removed the bottom stretchers from the table base. That makes it easier to get in there and do the sanding I need to do. There were just 4 bolts, 4 screws that held that in. Okay, let's start sanding on this piece. Okay, I got the table all sanded down, got the leads all sanded down. Next thing we need to do is get some stain color put on this. And the stain I'm going to apply is made by Varathane, and its color is Gunstock. Okay, I got the table all stained and has it dried overnight. My next step here is to put down a 1 coat of sanding sealer and let that dry, and then follow that up with a grain filler. And here's the grain filler that we're going to use on the top to fill the open pores. It is made by Mohawk. It's a medium walnut color, and I'll show you how to apply that. Okay, this stuff is about the consistency of peanut butter. So what you do is you just start brushing it on the top and kind of rub it in circular motions, and that forces that stuff down into those open pores. And we try to do just one section at a time so it doesn't get out of hand and dry too quickly on us. So we'll probably just do half a table and then do the other half. We'll just get this all spread on here like this. And then we'll come back through, we'll take a clean rag and we'll wipe off the excess. This will change the color of the table since it's putting color down into the pores, making that part darker. That's why we try to seal the wood down before we apply this to kind of lock that base color in place so the wood doesn't absorb any more color than we want it to. Some woods doesn't require this step if they don't have any open pores like maple and birch and pine and such. But woods like walnut, oak, mahogany, hickory, all those have open pores which will benefit from this product. This particular table, it has solid wood center panels that float in a frame. The center panels expand and contract season to season, so they tend to need to be able to move. That's why you see the gaps in here. In the wintertime, there's going to be a bigger gap than there is in the summertime. Right now we are in end of January, and it's cold outside and dry, so this is about as open as it's going to be. They use quarter sawn oak in the center panels, which tends to not expand and contract as much as other cuts of wood, which is good. All right, there's half the table, and let's get it wiped off. You can see the color difference on this side that I've filled the grain compared to the side that I haven't filled. It's taken on a little bit more of a browner color now since what the grain filler added, which is the color I was shooting for. Okay, now let's do the other half. All right. We'll pull these leaves back out, that way I can get the edges of the tabletop. And we'll let this sit overnight and dry before we can put the lacquer on. The lacquer I'm going to be using is made by M.L. Campbell. It is a pre-catalyzed lacquer. I like to use this on tables that get a lot of use because it'll hold up a lot better. But let's get spraying. And here's the reveal. And here's the finished product. We got 3 coats of catalyzed lacquer on here. We sanded in between coats with 400 grit sandpaper. Get a nice smooth finish. I'd say it turned out pretty nice. Thanks for watching this video till the end. If you enjoyed the video or learned something from it, make sure you hit the like button or leave us a comment. see all of our future videos coming, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Give your furniture some love.
For hard-to-find hardware like these, check us out at annieshomestore.com.